What is up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie with Any Action Sportscast here with another live stream again, back-to-back weeks. Our first official recurring guest. We're bringing Aries back from the Keep It a Buck podcast, bro. What is up? How you doing, bro?
What's up, brother? I'm good, man. I'm glad to be back again. I think we had a great episode last week, and I think we both had good weeks as far as picks and you making money as well. So I'm glad we are able to talk about this pay-per-view card that's happening in a few days. A great card, so ready to get into it, man.
Yeah, man, it was a good week for us. Just one of those cards where a bunch of favorites won, and we got lucky on betting on the ones that lost. Bro, how about that decision for Hakeem Duwadu? I would have had a sweep. I would have had over 6 units this last week. I had 5.3 profit, but it would have been one of my biggest nights ever, honestly, if Hakeem would have got that decision. And I know me and you were texting like as it was happening. Bro, that was pretty bad, right?
It was bad, and watching it live, it was bad. During the playback, and I watched it again. Not as bad, but I think it was 29-28 either way. But I feel like I could see what the judges were looking at with Cub. I think Cub did. He landed the better punches in the first, and then I feel like the way he ended up on top, on the ground in the second to end that round, it looked better in the judges'
Yeah.
eyes. So I feel like that may have swayed it, but um, yeah, Hakeem is one of the most frustrating fighters to watch. I think he just slows. He starts slow, and his buildup is very very. Yeah, it's rough, man. Frustrating.
And it's weird because he'll look fine, he'll look good, but you just have a sense of like, dude, you could look better. Like you could pull away here, and he never really does in fights. He doesn't really like go over the mountain. Doesn't really push that next level. So yeah, I had
This
a
is
him. Go ahead.
this is a weird comparison. It's like you're fighting against Hakeem in the UFC 4 game, but like on the easiest level where they're not doing much and you're just kind of like unloading your shots on him. But he's just standing there because it's like on the easiest level difficulty of the game. So
Not
it's
coming
so
back.
different. Yeah.
Dude, I had him to win via decision plus 200. So I was like, fuck, I
Oh
had
my god.
20 bucks on him. Uh, I had fights to start round 3, so I was happy I hit that. But yeah, man, a pretty exciting card with 6 or 7 finishes to start the night in a row. That was pretty awesome.
It
That
was.
Twister, bro. Damon Blackstreet coming back on
Ooh.
7 days. I don't know about that, dude. We'll see though. The money's been coming in on him. We'll get talk to that a little later, but yeah, I mean we have what 12 fights, 2 Ultimate Fighter fights, so 10 real fights. No, I'm just talking. We'll go ahead and start the show right away though. Yeah, like I said earlier, we were talking before off air. We got a women's MMA fight to start the night, dude. We have Marina Moreau is taking on Karine Silva. I'm going with the underdog straight away, dude. The line's already moved. I know she was plus 150, like plus 155. She's plus 130 now, so money's been coming in on her. Silva from minus 175 to around minus 150, which I do think is a very like better line if you were to gamble. So if you were trying to bet on her, good thing you waited. But the reason I'm going with Moreau's, bro, I think that this can go more than over a half round, like 1.5 rounds. I think that Moreau's doesn't get finished in that first round, and then the more it goes, I think that on the feet she's gonna look way better. I get it, dude. Silva 16 wins, 8 finishes, KOs, 8 finishes, sub, pretty crazy stuff. So she's a killer, and she's looked good. It's not like she's looked bad, like it's just like she's dusting all these kind of trash cans. And I think the Moreau is gonna be able to withstand. She's from a good gym over at ATT. I know the OnlyFans and Playboy stuff is a little weird, like outside of the UFC. But whatever, man. Joanna did the same stuff and she was fine. So yeah, give me Moreau's underdog pick straight away to start the night.
Nice, my guy. Yeah, this is an interesting rematch. They fought the first time back in 2014. Moreau's actually winning that fight by a first round submission by an armbar. But yeah, you saw in that first fight. I mean, Silva came out straight with a Superman punch, landed flush, and then the fight hit the ground and it never really got back up. But Silva, but Moreau's was really really active in trying to snatch up a limb. You saw her; she was on the bottom, yes, but actively trying to snatch up a limb of Silva. It took a while, but Moreau's was able to get the arm and lock in the submission. So, um, But since that fight, since 2014, I feel like these have been on two different career paths. Morose went straight to the UFC, and then Silva stayed in the regional scene, grinding away,
Mm.
making her resume look pretty. Which is it's impressive too. She's winning fights, on the feet and on the ground as well. But I kind of went back and watched Karina Silva's Dana White Contender Series fight,
Mhm.
and yo, I'm not gonna lie, the girl that she fought in that fight looked like a man, like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Chinese
yeah.
man. Bro,
Yeah,
I was like,
that's the
what
joke,
happened?
yeah. Yeah. I don't
Um,
know, yeah, yeah. You're not the only person that first say that, that's funny as
okay,
hell.
okay. But Silva started off great, and then there was a dip in her cardio and her movement. She got tired in the like second half of the fight. If she didn't end up getting that submission, and when she did, I think she loses that fight. Um, so I think she was very very fortunate to snatch up that neck and get in that guillotine because she probably would have got ground and pounded and probably finished in that round if she didn't get that. So again, I don't think Silva's cardio is that great to go further into the fight. And I think Marina Moroz just has that dog in her. She has that ATT dog in her to drag this out. I know her striking is not pretty, but I think the grit mixed with the volume of her strikes, it may be a little bit for Silva. So I'm actually siding with you on this, man. I'm actually going the dog. I've never
Oh,
picked
nice.
I've never picked Morose ever in my life, and this is the first time I'm siding with her. So
Dude, I loved her last fight or one of her recent fights against Agapova because they had beef. Like they were like roommates or whatever, and they were talking crazy nonsense to each other. That was awesome that she worked her. But I do agree with you, man. Silva is very good off bottom, dude. When you see someone pulling off ankle locks and knee bars like that, like to have leg locks like that off your back, she's gonna be calm, and she's not gonna be spazzing out trying to, get up. Like, oh my god, I'm off my back. I'm screwed. She's definitely gonna be trying to submit Morose from bottom. But I think Morose is gonna stay safe in her guard, and it's kind of funny that Morose submitted her because I think of Morose more of as a boxer. She's a Ukrainian boxer, but she does have that
yeah,
dog in her. She's from Ukraine, so she ain't
yeah.
giving up. No way.
And I think
So,
Silva has been given a very very favorable matches when it comes to the ground as well in her opponents. So she's winning by submission in all these fights in the UFC. I don't think Morose is going to be that easy to snatch up something or submit her. So I'm sure they're going to go Morose, maybe late submission or decision.
yeah. Yeah, because dude, I agree. I have her via decision.
Yeah, brother.
Last thing I'll say on that fight is Silva has never won a fight that goes past round two. You know. Also,
Ooh.
really quick, I don't have money on that fight, but I have something even more important, dude. This morning I was talking to my buddy Johnny K. Johnny K picks. So he put a shoey bet on that fight. He has Silva and I have Morose. So yeah, man, I really need her to win now. I love you drinking beer. I have a shoe on Saturday. Up next, another women's MMA fight, back-to-back girl fights to start the night. But that's the thing with this card, bro. All three girl fights on this card are bangers. Like this one's I'm super excited for it. But we have a
I,
crazy gambling line on this one. This line is kind of crazy to me. So we have a flyweight fight, women's flyweight fight between Andrea KGB Lee and Natalia Silva. Lee comes in plus 280. Silva comes in minus 355. That's kind of held steady all week, around minus 350. What do you got on this one? I'll let you go first.
So Silva has really like busted onto the scene, the UFC scene, and has looked great. 9-1 in her last 10 fights, 3-0 in the UFC. Before she got to the UFC, she's shown that she has a lot of finishes in a variety of ways. Um, but she's getting finishes early and late in fights as well. First round finishes and third round finishes. So it's very very exciting for the prospect. Um, but the jump in competition from uh who she just fight? Someone who's not really.
Victoria Leonardo.
There we go. And then that jump to Andrea Lee this weekend. Um, Lee is very very durable fighter.
Yeah.
Lee hasn't really finished anyone in her career. Maybe two fights she's finished in the UFC. Um, but I think Lee can make this a very very interesting fight. She's gonna have the reach advantage, the length advantage. I think Silva or not Silva. Yeah, Silva can she's going to be quick on the feet, in and out. She's going to be really really quick to get to that punch. But I think Lee is going to stick around and kind of make this a back and forth fight a little bit and kind of give Silva her first look at some like resistance. So I am taking Lee, but I'm going Lee or not Lee. I'm going Silva by decision. Sorry. Sorry about
Nice.
that.
I was like, oh, back to back knocks. No, I totally agree with everything you said. That I mean, I just can't go over that gambling line. I can't lay Silva minus 350, even though I do think that she's gonna win. A lot of these favorites on this card, they're making you parlay, bro. They're making you parlay this week because they're so wide. Like it's kind of crazy. But yeah, if it wasn't for the 8-year age gap here, I would pick and bet Lee. She's getting up there in age, and I don't think that she's going to be able to out grapple and wrestle Natalia Silva down. It was kind of crazy how easy she was taking down Macy Barber, who we all know is like a pretty good grappler. And Silva, but dude, so that's the thing. Silva's takedown defense against Jasmine Judavicius is what to me makes me feel really safe in this fight for her. It's going to be a 15-minute striking fight, but like you said, man, Andrea Lee on the feet is good. She's really good. She has a lot of experience against high-level fighters. And then competition for Victoria Leonardo and Teresa Bleda to Andrea Lee is pretty significant. Dude, Lee is going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, 2-inch height advantage. I mean, at minus 355, I want someone to go out there and get a finish in the first round, fairly early. But yeah, give me Silva to win a decision. I don't think that she's going to knock out or submit Lee. Lee's never been knocked out in 20 pro fights, only been submitted once. So, like you said, she's very durable, and it should be a showcase type showing here for Silva. They're putting on a pay-per-view for a reason. They're trying to push her. But yeah, this is early, man. She's still young in her career, 26. But I do think that she has a significant speed advantage here. She will look faster, in my opinion, in this fight, and this will be a point fight. So a 15-minute decision win for Silva.
Yeah, man. I agree.
Up next is this one's a banger, dude. I love these type of fights. Two grapplers going at it, dude. We have a middleweight fight. Gerald Meerschaert taking on Andre Petroski. Meerschaert comes in 35-16. He is plus 195. Petroski comes in 9-1. He is the favorite at minus 240. I'll go ahead and go first here, man. When this first came out, like when I was first looking at this card, I was like, dude, I'm picking Gerald. I'm going with Gerald. I might even bet Gerald. But then I started watching more, and I'm just like, dang, Petroski's striking looked a lot better than I remembered in the tournament fight. Because I actually don't think that Petroski is that good. I'll be honest. Like, he's good, don't be wrong. But I just think he's kind of overrated a little bit. At minus 240 over a guy that's going to be dangerous in the area, he's probably going to take it, and that's the wrestling from Petroski. So when you're a wrestler against a jiu-jitsu guy, you got to be safe the whole fight, in his guard the whole time, 15 minutes. You could be beating him up for 10 minutes and then get subbed out of nowhere, like Paul Craig style. Gerald's just one of those fighters, it's always dangerous. He can be getting beat up the whole time. But that's the thing. On the feet, I'm not impressed by Gerald. He's slow, sloppy, flat-footed. Yeah, if you see him get one punched, his striking defense isn't there. His chin, is suspect. And so I do expect Andre to win this fight. In the striking, he should have an advantage here. Should be the quicker fighter here. Should have a little bit more power and output. And as long as he doesn't gas out or get submitted, I think that he's going to be able to stay safe with the wrestling here. It is dangerous, though, at minus 240, betting on a guy with the wrestling game plan that's like fighting a dangerous jiu-jitsu guy here. So, yeah, man, give me Andre Petroski. I actually think he's going to finish him in that second round, ground and pound finish.
Oof. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm actually leaning the dog here.
Okay.
I'm actually going GM3, and I get it. Like, GM3 is so iffy with his striking defense. But I was watching back that Bruno Silva fight, and this is the thing that kind of got me is like he saw those punches coming, and he was able to get out of the way. So that's the other thing to this performance is like, is Gerald going to be on his game of where he could see these wind up punches coming from Petroski, because Petroski is a very very classic wrestling boxer who just throws these heavy right hands and it really winds up on his punches. I think if GM3 is on his game, I think he's going to be able to see these punches coming, avoid the big punches coming from Petroski. I think if it hits the ground, I think GM3 may be a little bit sneaky on the ground off his back, and snatch something up. So I'm actually going. I like a GM3 sub here in the second round.
Oh man, no, I can't argue any of your points. That you're speaking facts, dude. Like, He reminds me of Oliveira, where you can crack him, but then it's like, all right, do I go down and chase him because like he might snatch me up real fast? Like he's just going for subs, going for sweeps at all times on the back. And yeah, dude, you know what's crazy is that Alex Pereira, one of the most dangerous fighters in the world, really couldn't finish Bruno Silva. And then Gerald goes out there and sleeps him bad, dude. Like sometimes the tape lies. Sometimes like this is all a lie. Like this is all just ridiculous. How does that happen? Like that's crazy.
When I was watching that fight, I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I was watching that fight live. But again, like another a negative point with Petrosky is like, again, with a dip in his performance. I felt like he has a great first round. He looks amazing, very, very explosive, but I feel like the muscle mass, he carries so much muscle in this division. He carries it further into the fight, and I feel like there's a dip in his performance in his cardio. But he is like just a pit bull, and he will just push through, charge forward with takedowns, even though he's gassed and tired. And then he somehow just has a second wind in these third round late in fights to get finishes or get decisions or whatever. But yeah, again, that dip and that performance, I don't know if you want GM3 to see that kind of let the foot off the gas. I think Mershard can exploit that.
Dude, and you know what's crazy? He has a win over Michael Gilmore. Do you remember who that is? Do you remember him?
Yeah, I do.
Bro, I know a lot of people are taking shots at Juliana Miller, but bro, Michael Gilmore is definitely the worst fighter I've ever seen in the UFC. That dude is horrible. That guy is terrible. And I mean, I just think it's funny that he got a win over him. Like I remember when they booked that fight, I was like, oh my god, do I just bet my whole house on Petrosky here? Because Gilmore is trash, dude. That fool is terrible. I didn't know he grappled with Renee Souza and lost. That's crazy.
Who's that?
It's the Petrosky. Because I've seen him on Fight Pass a couple times, and he does good. He beat OSP not too long ago. Actually, a few of these guys have been on there on Fight Pass with grappling matches. But we'll go to the next fight. This is an ultimate finale. Maybe we were kind of talking about this before the show started. So I didn't watch the whole season. I watched like the first, I think like 6 or 7 episodes. Chandler's team just kept winning, and I was like, "Oh, the veterans are just going to beat the suck ass regional guys every single time. Like this is kind of boring." But these two guys were impressed for sure. Cody Gibson and Brad Katana. My screen doesn't have the odds up. I'm assuming that Katana is going to be the favorite here. I know he seems like a dork. He's kind of weird on the show, but I think he's good, dude. I actually like him. He's pretty well rounded. He can take the fight in any area, really, whether grappling or striking. Cody Gibson probably does have the striking advantage in this fight. But I'm going with Katana, man. I think that he's going to win, become the first dude to win the Ultimate Fighter twice. I don't know the line, like I said. I can probably check right now while you talk, but I'd expect him to be the favorite. Do you got anything on this fight?
I've heard a lot of good things about Brad. So I mean, I stopped watching after the second episode of this show. Once I saw how the show was going to go, and Chandler took the vets, and then Connor took the rookies. I actually automatically just checked out. I was like, this is going to be stupid. These guys are going to get killed.
Yeah.
And then you have a guy like Connor who doesn't really coach. He just tries to drop these quotes and movement exercises and movements and how to move your body.
Bro, he wasn't even cornering. He was like he would like watch the fight like front row by himself and never even corner. He would just be like, yes, beautiful shot. Yes. And he's like, this guy's getting his ass whipped. It would be so funny when Chandler's guys would take his opponent down or like Connor's guy down, and he'd be like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, this is fucking gay. It's boring. Like, and the whole time at home, I'm like, bro, that's crazy. This fool hates wrestling. Like, that's crazy.
But man, do I miss the first time Connor was on Tough as a coach against Faber.
Oh my god, he bullied him.
Oh man, I miss that Connor so much. But yeah, Connor was just there for the paycheck, there to make some social media waves. Get the fans excited to see his face again. If you guys are a fan of him, like I am. But yeah, it was a terrible season, man. I didn't really care. So,
do you think Katana wins or Gibson?
I'll go Brad, because this is the few times I will actually trust MMA Twitter, and people are saying good things about Brad Katona, so I'll go Brad.
Dude, it was funny. I mentioned that I had a shoey bet with Johnny K Picks on that Karine Silva and Moreau's fight, and if I lose, that Shui bet, my plan is to pay up during one of these tough fights because I honestly don't really care about them. Like I'll be all right missing them doing the Shui, like it's whatever. But this next fight, I do know these guys well, Austin Hubbard and Kurt Holloway. I watched a little bit of these guys. I definitely remember Austin Hubbard from his UFC run. I know. Oh, by the way, Katana's a favorite. He's minus 175. So yeah, I figured. But Hubbard here, I don't have the odds right now, but I do think that he's a favorite as well. I'm gonna go with Hubbard via decision. I think if Holloway, doesn't finish him, he's gonna have a pretty boring fight here. Hubbard's not really dangerous at all. He's gonna clinch up a lot on the cage and has try to get takedowns from the cage, try to get those trips, body lock takedowns from there. Decent output. Kurt probably has a more finishing ability. Throws heavier, definitely walks up his opponents more than Hubbard does. But he's 36 years old, so I gotta go with Hubbard, the way young guy. You got anything on this one?
So on the ESPN app, it says that Austin Hubbard is a minus 165 favorite.
Yep.
I don't know, bro. So people were talking about that crazy fight between Kurt Holloway, to get to the final or the finale. I heard it was like one of those classic fights of tough and probably the best fight of the season, which is not hard to beat. But I heard, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Kurt, and I don't remember Kurt in the UFC at all. But I mean, people are talking about his hands and he could do some damage on the feet if this stays standing. But maybe I'm leaning towards Austin Hubbard's vet savviness to kind of work the grappling, pressure him up against the cage and just win minutes off this fight. It's going to be interesting on the feet for sure. But I'll take Austin. I'll be safe and take Austin Hubbard in this fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to win a decision. We can move on from those two fights. The rest of the card is pure bangers. There is not one boring fight. The rest of the fight card. Up next, middleweight fight, the Brazilian Obama. I don't know why more people don't call him that, dude. He looks just like Obama, but Brazilian. Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez taking on Dennis Lillian. A classic get-right fight, in my opinion. I think the UFC is setting up Gregory to win this fight, and I was super happy to hear him say in his media days that he is trying to take this fight down, that he wants to use his grappling more in this fight, that he fell in love with his hands. And I'm like, bro, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I don't even have money on this fight. I don't have a parlay or nothing. I just want him to do that because this minus 355 is the favorite. For Rodriguez, Lillian plus 280, but minus 355, if Gregory goes to the grappling here, he's going to look like minus 500. Like, Lillian cannot grapple. We've seen it time and time again, but they are good guys. Don't get me wrong, Park is more of a striker in my opinion. So to see him get work like that was kind of crazy. But yeah, man, as long as Gregory Rodriguez doesn't accept a 15-minute striking fight here and go to the grappling and get this guy down, I think he can submit him right away. I've seen this dude on the UFC Fight Pass Invitationals, doing those jiu-jitsu tournaments. This guy is a savage, dude. This guy is super strong, super quick, and very, very fast on the mat. So if it gets there, dude, I really don't see Dennis surviving, but it's kind of crazy being a Russian striker. He doesn't really have wrestling. It's kind of really crazy, honestly. There's like 4 of those in the whole world, I feel like.
Ban him. You got to ban him from the country.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but give me Gregory Rodriguez for sure. I think he's going to finish him in that first round.
I'm glad you said that, bro, because I was actually looking at a Gregory Rodriguez sub prop because Dennis is just that bad when it comes to grappling. And I think RoboCop is strong enough to, have his way in this fight if it gets to the ground. So I know people were kind of teetering with this fight because of Dennis's dog mentality and heavy hands. I heard some people saying, but I'm not letting that fool me. Gregory Rodriguez to make this an easy night, and I'm glad you said that little bit that he wants to, get to the grappling side of things, and I think that's where he's going to win this fight and get a sub. So, give me Gregory Rodriguez, man.
Yeah, he got slept bad in that last fight, and that Bruno dude, that was his debut, I believe, in Brazil, that pay-per-view in Brazil. That shocked me, dude. Bruno has crazy, crazy power. So yeah, man, I think he learned his lesson for sure.
Bro, Dennis, Gregory might be the oldest 31-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
I said that on my show too. I was reading the tail tape. Like, he's 6'1", he's 31. I was like, oh, that's not true.
I thought he was late 30s. Yeah, I'm surprised he's 31 years old.
I'm glad you said that. I do agree. I do not think he's 31. Ain't no way, dude. That's funny. Up next, though, is another. This is what the headlining prelim fight before we go to the pay-per-view. a middleweight fight. I don't know how this fight is taking place or why it's taking place. We have Chris Weidman coming back, taking on Brad Tavares. I'll let you just start this one off, man. You got anything on this one?
So you know what? I kind of been trying to fight away the underdog demons voices from my head, trying to get me to feed me faith on Chris Weidman here. Um, Brad, I feel like Brad is one of these other fighters who is very, very frustrating to watch. I think he is a very, very talented guy, but the resume ain't too pretty. And Chris Weidman has the recipe to beat, I think, and put up a good fight against Brad. I think if you were to look at the kind of the ranked higher fighters in like the 11, 15 range of this middleweight division, I think, is Brad ranked? Sorry, is Brad
No,
ranked at all?
no.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought he was ranked. Sorry about that, but I don't know. I don't know a good comeback fight for Chris right now, but I think someone like Brad is one of those decent comeback fights for someone like Chris, because Chris has good wrestling, and Brad sometimes I know he has a high takedown rate, takedown defense, but I think that's a bit overrated. I'm not gonna lie. So I think if Chris wins, he's gonna use that wrestling and get a decision here. But I don't know if I can trust the guy who looks like he's training for the first time and relearning how to use his limbs um, in this fight. And it sucks because I want a nice juicy underdog on the card, but yeah, Chris Weidman is not that guy for me. I'm gonna go Brad, but yeah, no money on this fight.
Yeah, dude. So the line, you would think Tavares would be a huge favorite considering the circumstances for Weidman, with the whole leg break, 39 years old, hasn't fought in 2 years, relearning to walk, all that stuff. But bro, do you remember Jay Perrin?
Yes,
He was the guy that fought that little teenager kid, Souza or like Rosas Jr. that got finished forever. And so like the reason I bring him up is like, so what, like if you're Jay Perrin and you get asked to like, hey, do you want to fight this teenage kid? Like you got to know they want you to lose. Like they're expecting you to lose. Like I feel like when Brad Tavares got Chris Weidman, he was like, what the fuck, what the hell? Like you think like why me? Like it's not gonna be a good fight. We're gonna kill this guy. Like, I would be hella insulted if I had Chris Weidman, offered to be like, what the hell? I get he's on a 2-fight losing streak, so he definitely wants to get right. So they're probably like, hey man, it's gonna be an easy fight for you. It's Chris Weidman, blah, blah, blah. And for Chris Weidman, they're like, hey bro, like you could beat this guy. Tavares isn't even that good. He's not gonna finish you, blah blah blah. But I got Tavares all day here on my show, my breakdown. And I said that I really don't see a path for Chris Weidman, and it really comes down to him being a really good grappler with good jiu-jitsu and having to use his legs in a fight where he hasn't, been able to walk in 2 years. So forget like training, forget being in camp and trying to improve your skills. Like he had to start from bottom again, and then I don't know, man. It's just way too many red flags. He's up there in age. He's fighting a guy with good hips, strong hips along the cage. I don't think that he's going to get taken down on the open mat. I think that he'll be able to press forward. The last two guys that fought Brad Tavares and beat him, I would take over Chris Weidman 100%. We know he's durable. Dricus Duplessis wasn't even able to finish him. He's the Hawaiian. He's got the Hawaiian chin. Chris Weidman doesn't even crack like that, so we don't have to worry about that. And I just think that Chris Weidman fades. So the over 1.5, you would think statistically would hit for sure in this fight. Both guys super durable and, not really finishers in their own rights. But it's just that he's 39 years old, has like 1.5 legs, really. So that's tough, man. Laying the juice on over 1.5 is kind of scary to me because I do think that Tavares can finish him early, but I think Tavares is going to win this fight. It's kind of crazy that this fight's even getting booked. And it's actually even crazier that line is held steady. I feel like a lot of people do agree with you and they're leaning, and trying not to bet Chris Weidman. But I feel like, he should be the favorite. Tavares should be the favorite. Minus 270. I agree, man. He is not even that young, though. I feel like a lot of people are thinking he's super young. He's 35. Like, that's pretty old, too, for the middleweight division. So, yeah, man, give me Brad Tavares to win. I think he finished him in the second round.
Hey, I know you have a shoey bet, and I don't drink like that no more. But if Chris Weidman wins the next time I'm on the show, I will drink a bottle of soda like Buddy the Elf. Okay, it's going to be a mess. Of course, it's going to be terrible, but I don't drink like that. So, but
that's funny.
That's how confident I feel in Brad.
Okay,
dropping the ball here.
Yeah, dude. If he loses, bro, like wow, like that's so
yeah, bro.
And we were talking about it earlier before the show. Like every little thing that Weidman does, the crowd's gonna be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, like every single little kick he throws. Which that gave me just chills thinking about him throwing a kick. because that's gonna be
He did
sketchy,
say,
dude.
though, he did say on the Ariel Helwani show that the first thing he's going to do is run out there and throw a leg kick. So we'll
Oh
see if he
man,
kind of
dude.
here. So.
But I do think it's funny that Brad Tavares, when he got the contract, was like, "What the hell, Chris Weidman? What the fuck? Am I that bad?" But no, we'll go to the next fight, dude. I'm super happy Batista is still on the card. Crazy that Damian Blackshear is doing this. True BMF. This is a triple OG triple move. Yeah, bantamweight fight between Mario Batista and Damian Blackshear. Batista comes in minus 245. That line's been going up and down. It's kind of holding steady now at minus around 250. And Blackshear comes in at plus 185, the underdog, dude. So this is pretty interesting because, so to me, it comes down to the two weight cuts back to back. So this guy's going to cut weight twice in 2 weeks, bro, or 1 week. And that just can't be healthy for you. Like, it just can't be. I don't care how big or how small he ballooned up after making weight. Like, it matters to me. Like, that's I get it. He's young. He's 29 years old. He's not old or anything, but that's scary, dude. Like, you pretty much almost die when you make weight. Like, you have to suck yourself dry. Insane. And I'm sure he had that sense of relief when he made weight, drank a bunch of water, got filled up. I don't know how big he got, but like, I heard rumors that he's like 20 pounds heavier and he has to cut 20 pounds in 4 days. So that's red flag. But I mean, it's not like he's off the couch. He was definitely, just had a camp, had a very easy fight. Very good performance, dude. That wrestling, was apparent in this fight. Batista, very good leg kicker. But his little recent run, I feel like he can poke holes in. Like, he's looking good. Don't be wrong. Like, he's looking good. But like, against who? Like, Kelleher, I mean, come on. Like, he's not even in the UFC anymore. More of like an average, well-rounded guy, not really good anywhere. Benito Lopez, same thing. I mean, and then Guido Canetti, like, he's horrible. But they were I feel like they were trying to showcase him against Cody Garbrandt. I feel like they expected him to win, which is why they gave him that fight. But he's a good striker, man. He's a good, well-rounded fighter. But I think that he's going to win this fight. Give me Batista to win, but I am worried about that wrestling from Blackshear. He's going to make it interesting, dude. I wouldn't be shocked to see Blackshear win a decision or get a submission here, but I think he's going to gas out. I think he's going to be a little more chinny than normal, and I think he's going to be desperately trying to wrestle early in this fight. Because Batista's a dangerous striker. So give me Batista via. I'm going to go decision. I think he stays safe and coast to a decision.
There are many times fighters fall out of their fights and their bouts, of course, due to whatever. But it's rare that the UFC is able to scramble and make a better fight than their original fight. And I think this is a better fight than the Cody Garbrandt fight.
Ooh, hot take.
I think it is. I think Cody and Batista were. I think it was more of just if Cody gets taken down, then that's it. And I think that's where Mario excels at in that fight. But I think we get a matchup where it's kind of more even playing field with Blackshear being having a threat and having that background on the ground as well. But I think Blackshear is really, really good in top guard if he's on controlling on the top position. But I don't think he does really good off his back. And I think if Mario is in that position and he's on the top, and I think Mario may kind of style him on Blackshear on the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think so. So I may, this one's playing with my head as well. I may lean the favorite with Mario Batista here, but yeah, this one's risky to bet.
Yeah, I think the line. I mean, I'm passing. There's too iffy to me. I know I picked Batista decision, but actually now I'm thinking about it. I wouldn't be shocked to see him finish him because that weight cut, dude. 2 weight cuts in 7 days. I don't care who. That's insane. Like, that's insane. Actually, it happened in the Ultimate Fighter season. Timur Valiev made weight and he was gonna fight. Then his opponent got like staph or something, or something happened, and they had to either redo it. And then they were gonna make him make weight again, and challenge team was like, "Oh hell no, we're not gonna cut weight again like in another week. Like, that's crazy." Because he made weight, like, what the hell? And so I think Dana White was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point." Blah blah blah. But they didn't. Damon was like, "I don't care." I'm surprised that's not a catch weight. That's a straight up, bantamweight fight.
That's facts. And Blackshear is very, very muscular. He has a huge. I think he has a big frame for a 135er as well. So
yeah, he's big.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Up next though is a banger of a fight. I can't wait for this fight, and I'm worried for, I guess, who I want to win in this fight. We have Marlon Chito Vera against Pedro Munoz. Chito Vera comes in minus 190 as a favorite. Pedro Munoz, the underdog, plus 160. Now, I'll start it off here. And again, how I was talking about I wanted to pick Gerald Meerschaert right when the week started, and I was looking into the card. Right away, I was like, damn, dude, I really want to bet and pick Munoz plus 160. He's been holding steady. He's actually been climbing. You can get him at a better odds now. Money been coming in a little bit on Vera because this is gonna be a close fight. I don't see anyone getting finished, but I do think if someone does get finished, it's gonna be Munoz, not Vera. Even though Vera has worse striking defense, Vera actually gets outstruck in a lot of his fights. A lot of his fights, he does end up statistically getting outstruck by his opponents, but he does a really good job of making the shots that he does land count. I mean, he has crazy power. He'll have a reach and length advantage in this fight. Taller, long guy, a lot of good deep kicks. We've seen the front kicks, like it's crazy what he did to Frankie Edgar. But even that fight, Frankie Edgar was landing a ton on Vera. And Vera's just a very slow starter, dude. That first round, I don't want to say takes off, but he just, takes forever to get going. And last fight, dude, his corner was yelling at him like half of the fight, like, bro, you got to do something about this. Like, you got to get going, And he just could never get started. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sandhagen's a tall, long guy, very good fighter, very tricky fighter, switches stance all the time, makes you think a lot. And, way kind of different in stylistic matchup than Munoz. Munoz is a stocky, going forward on you, punishing leg kicks. I think he threw like 26 leg kicks on O'Malley in like one punch. He's trying to take out those shins. But both these guys are very good leg kickers, very good leg checkers. And Vera starts slow, so there is a lot going for Munoz in this fight. But he's 36 years old, going to be 37 soon. And so I think Vera wins this fight. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Vera finish this fight, even though Munoz has never been dropped, never been finished in his pro career. Neither guy has, which is crazy. So statistically, you would think this is definitely going the distance, definitely going over. But the books know they're going to juice you on those lines. So yeah, man, I'll end it with Vera via decision.
Yeah, and that's my pick as well. I feel like Marlon takes a while to get his game plan in action. I feel like he takes a while to make his reads and react and exploit those strikes that he's seeing from his opponents. So automatically he's given off maybe a round already. So it is a bit nerve wracking to put money on Marlon, especially in a 3-round fight. I feel like Marlon's his style is really good with the 5-round fight. So this being a 3 rounds and not having those 2 extra rounds, it's going to be very, very nerve wracking for anyone who puts money on Marlon Vera today or on Saturday. Again, great kickers from both. But Pedro's output is just not enough for me to pick him in this fight. He has great movement, but he just doesn't take those shots to explode in the inside and land his own powerful strikes. So he does play that outside game a lot with the kicks and tries to work his way in. But when he gets in, he doesn't do much for me. So I think I'm hoping Marlon turns up the heat a little bit. I feel like if Marlon could just put his foot on the gas pedal just a little bit, I think it does a lot for him. So I'll go Marlon decision as well. And I don't know. I feel like a Marlon KO prop isn't a bad look as either. So yeah.
They just gotta give you a good number because it's not just like any other KO prop. Like this dude is very durable that he's trying to knock out, proven to be very durable, and so they gotta give you some good odds on that. Because if you don't and he wins a decision, that would suck. Like method of victory to me is so tricky. Like you have to either sprinkle or be super super confident in one. Well, I think the reason why I'm so salty on those is that I had Francis Ngannou via knockout over Gane. He won via decision. I was like, how the fuck did you how does that happen? I just never forget that. I've never forgot that one single bet. It wasn't even that much, but still. But yeah, man, another fight that I'm super super happy. One of the fighters has an opponent and stays on the card. We have Neil Magny taking on Ian Gary. Neil Magny comes in 28-10 as a plus 370 underdog. He is 36 years old, 6'3" with the 80-inch reach. And Ian Gary, the Irish, undefeated prospect, comes in 12-0, crazy favorite, minus 485 now. Money coming in on him, it's not stopping. 25 years old, 6'3" with a 74-inch reach. I'll let you start this one, bro. What you got?
Oh man, I really wish that the Jeff Neal fights stayed together. If Jeff Neal was still here, I would have picked Jeff Neal to beat Ian Gary. I'm just going to say that right off bat. But this fight is good. I think we're going to see another side of Ian Gary, hopefully his game. I feel like he has really stayed on his feet, had a striking display, looked great, has gotten rocked in almost every fight that he's had in the UFC.
Yeah.
So there's that chance of maybe Neil Magny has a Thanos hand and lands a nice punch and sits Gary down for a little bit. But I think Gary has rallied back in those fights where he's gotten rocked and has looked great and looks great on the feet. I like that he's traveling around the world and going to these different camps, learning, soaking up game from very great vets in the game. I like that about Ian Gary. He's still young, and I feel like people don't really do that. I could be wrong, but just seeing it on social media, I feel like young fighters could be a little bit stubborn and just think they got it all figured out already, and then they get, they take a loss and then they realize like, oh shit, maybe I should go learn something new. So I'm glad Ian Gary's doing that early in his career. But I think we're going to see what Ian Gary looks like on the ground this weekend, and I think it's going to be interesting. I'm leaning towards an Ian Gary submission here. So yeah, I'm poking out my chest for this one. So
dude, so I agree with you. Seeing him out there with Charles Oliveira at Shoot Box, I was like, what the hell? I was like, that was hella tight. That's just cool. Like, forget like if he's fighting a fight soon or not. That's just cool. Like, I do agree with you. Like, that's really cool to see him do that. And you definitely like to see that because, like you said, he's very young, has very bright potential, and he's not like he's a bad camp in America either. He's out there with Henry Hoof, bro. He's has rounds with Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, Shavkat Rakhmonov, like Luke. Like, he's getting good rounds at that camp. But then now he's like flying around the world trying to get good rounds in. And to make you feel better, dude. So I was watching Volkanovski. He has a YouTube and like sometimes he makes picks, like he'll make a video like, oh, go through the card really quickly. And when he got to this fight, he said that I don't know if you know who Craig Jones is. He's like the jiu-jitsu coach with Volkanovski.
Yeah, I think you told me that last recording last week.
And so Craig said that he got working with Ian, and Ian was good. He said that, yeah, he impressed me. Like, he's actually better than I thought. And so that's like a huge compliment, right? And so and he also said that Volkanovski said that Craig said that Ian was asking all the right questions and like was very cerebral as a fighter and just like a good student, I guess. And I'm like, bro, what the hell? Like, that's on top of him like going out there with Charles and then like, and Diego Lima. So like this dude definitely is trying to get the best rounds possible. So you've seen him sparring with Chris Curtis, like who I think is a very, good opponent to try to mimic Jeff Neal. And I do agree with you. I was going to pick Jeff Neal as well because, bro, when Ian Gary got dropped by that dude, Kanan Song, like that was crazy. Like the lights went out, bro. The lights were out, like do like someone unplugged the computer, bro. That was crazy. Like I was like, no way. And obviously he came back and got the knockout, and then he did, kind of erase that out of my mind because that D-Rod performance, bro, he looked good. No one does that to D-Rod. He had kicked him flush, and he looked great. So like definitely improving, and you can expect that from him, at his age and getting better camps now in America. So yeah, man, I think that Gary is the way. Minus 500, bro. I mean, if you're adding that to the parlay, it doesn't really add any value. Like, so it's kind of tough. So like you were doing, I'm gonna approach method of victory. Sub is crazy. I hope they give you a crazy odds on that, and hope you hit. Yeah, sub or knockout inside the distance, whatever you want to call it. I think he finishes Neil Magny. It's so funny. We haven't even talked about Neil Magny really. Neil Magny clinch. It's gonna be super boring if it goes his way. Neil Magny is actually the one that's gonna be trying to take this one down and submit Ian Gary probably. Super long arms and limbs. So Gary's gonna have to watch out for that if they do end up on the mat. But yeah, no, he's not finishing Ian Gary. So it's funny. Like he has an easier fight on short notice now as far as like getting finished. Like once he saw Neil Magny come in, he's like, oh damn, like I'm definitely don't have to worry about getting knocked out now. And I love how he brought in Phil Rowe. Like that's awesome. Like that's such a good person to mimic Neil Magny with that length and reach. So yeah, give me Ian Gary. Love what I'm seeing from him. And it's funny because I feel like he's easy to hate on. Even this week during the media day, he's talking a bunch of nonsense. But I feel like people like get too caught up in that and don't look at the skills. And he's good, bro. So I think Ian Gary wins inside the distance. I think he gets him out of there in that second round via ground and pound finish.
Mr. Fundamental, man. Neil Magny, Mr. Fundamental, it's not going to hold up against Ian Gary, I think. So
he does have a good nickname though, the Haitian Sensation. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. That's pause.
That's pretty good. And he is the captain of Corey Sandhagen's team, so he's not a bad IQ. He has good IQ. It's just that he's not very good. Whatever. A lot of experience though, going his way over the young, green prospect. Now it's time for the co-main event, though, bro. This one is a banger. Another women's MMA fight. I can't wait for this one. With another crazy line on the money line. But we have the women's strawweight belt up for grabs. Weili Magnum. Wait, is it Weili Zhang or Zhang? Weili
Zhang.
Zhang. We have Zhang Weili taking on Amanda Lemos. I know that one has a H, Lemos, even though it's spelled Lemos. Yeah, man. So the champ comes in 23-3, minus 305 favorite. Money been coming in on Lemos, pushing that line down. Lemos coming in at plus 250. She has a 13-2-1 record. She is 36 years old. Wei Li is 34. Yeah, and I'll start this one off, man. So I'm a big Wei Li fan. I think that she's gonna win this fight. I think that she's gonna finish this fight, and it comes down to the wrestling. So Wei Li made a huge improvements going out there with Henry in Arizona with those guys at Fight Ready, but also she was been going out to Bang Tao in Thailand with the Hickman brothers, and to me, bro, like they're gonna have saying like ready to go, like a machine. Like from what I can hear from coming that camp, like this girl is a monster, and you can see in her fights, man. I honestly think that you could have gave her that decision lost, that she lost to Rose. I feel like that if you would have given it to Wei Li, I wouldn't have been, going crazy about it. It was a good fight, close fight. And, we know she's very durable. If you watch that Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, it's just that in that first round, Lemos just lied to knock out anybody on the planet, dude. This girl has crazy, crazy power, dude. Very wide hooks, but dude, it's kind of scary how much power she has. Like, dude, like that last win against Marina Rodriguez, like that's a very good win because I actually looked at Marina as a very good fighter. And she had her like, like I'm done, like throwing it, like that was crazy. But man, dude, I just think that she fades in her fights. Well, not really bad, but I've seen her fade before. And the Angela Hill fight, I just can't get over. I know it's just one fight and one, example of her fighting. It's just bad. It's just bad. Like this is a 5-round fight, and she throws a ton into her strikes. And I just think that if she gets taken down and zapped, she's not going to look the same after she gets up in the next round starts. So give me Wei Li Zhang to ground and pound finish. Lemos, keep her belt. Round 3, ground and pound finish.
I think one thing that worries me with the champ is her head movement. Sometimes I think she's hittable. So that's one thing that really scares me with the champ. But looking at Amanda Lemos's kind of resume and her fight history in the UFC so far, again with that Angela Hill fight, yeah. And then she got subbed by Andrade, and then she runs into Michelle Watterson, a terrible first round, and then gets the sub in the second. And then the Rodriguez fight, again, another bad start, another slow first round, but I think Marina won that first round. But as time went on, we saw her, pick up the output a little bit. But I think if Wei Li if Wei Li is just her natural self, Wei Li, is the natural just like firecracker almost in this fight and just really pushes the pace and just beats her normal self, I think Lemos may get tired. And I think her volume and the champ's volume could just weigh heavy on the challenger here. So I'm actually going Wei Li as well to keep the belt. And but yeah, it's just the stand up, the striking defense from Wei Li that is scaring me a little bit because of the power of the challenger. But I just think the champ is just an all around solid, great fighter. And I with the time off that she's had since her last fight, I think she's grown a lot and is still growing as a fighter. So I'm really hoping that it shows in this performance. So
yeah, I think that she's gonna look good, man. I think that she's gonna keep her belt. That line is crazy though because she could get knocked out. Like, don't get me wrong. I like how you started your breakdown with her head movement. She does go forward, and she's very hittable. If Joanna had more power, she could have knocked her out like 7 times in that fight.
I think so.
It was kind of crazy how much damage she took in that fight and how little it showed. Like, that's one thing I noticed. I was like, dude, it's not like she's not landing. Joanna is landing, and if it weren't for that crazy thing on her head, like if she didn't have that thing happen on her head, I feel like she would have won that fight. It's just she looked like an alien. Like Wei Li had her looking crazy. Just got caught by Rose, which it happens, I guess, a very bad read. She thought she was gonna go low, puts hands to the body, boom, goes over the top. So yeah, man, I think that she's gonna stay safe. That wrestling is gonna be there. I really do think that she's gonna ground pound finish Lemos in that fight. But now it's time for the fight that the reason why we're doing this whole stream, man. There's nothing like a pay-per-view where like I can't wait for this main event, dude. Like I'm at work just like thinking, well, like, damn, can't wait to go. Okay, only got 2 more days, 3 more days. Like I can't wait for this main event, dude. So we have Aljamain Sterling taking on Sean O'Malley for the bantamweight title. The odds currently sit Sean O'Malley is the underdog plus 200. The champ coming in at minus 250. Yeah, I'll start this one off, man. I think that Aljo does Sean O'Malley, and I get it. A lot of people are actually thinking that Sean either wins via early knockout or doesn't win at all. I actually think it's the opposite. I think that Sean O'Malley can win late in this fight, not early. I feel like if it goes early, it's gonna go to Aljo. If this fight ends late, it'll be because Sean won it late. So yeah, so I just think that the grappling it's just too much. The fight where I'm like, all right, here we go. Like Aljo's gonna have a good time when I watch the tape is the Peter Yan fight. Like for one, I thought Peter Yan won the fight. Don't get me wrong, it was close, like not robbery, like whatever, like, close fight, great fight between two guys, like great fight, right? And showed that Sean O'Malley is definitely world class level, 100%. His striking is top tier, 100%. Don't get me wrong, very accurate, very sharp, can be accurate going off his back foot, good lateral movement, and just dangerous the whole fight. But the takedowns that Peter Yan got look so easy, dude, especially early in that first round. And then Sean kind of faded in that fight. I mean, I'm not saying he fades in all of his fights, but in that last fight that he had against the best opponent he's faced, he did fade in that 3-round fight. And he got taken down 6 times by a much smaller Peter Yan. And Aljamain Sterling looks like 2 Peter Yans in there. Like, this dude is huge. I don't know how he makes weight. I wouldn't be surprised if he missed weight, which would be so funny. But he is huge, bro. Like, he is enormous. And me and you, we have a homie that was out there training with him. So we've seen pictures of him in camp. And like I said, he's bigger than 155ers. Like, he's huge. Like, I don't get how he makes weight. This guy's, I don't say weight bully, but like, it's crazy. And that size is going to matter big time. As soon as Aljo gets his hands locked, Sean has lost the round, in my opinion. Like, it's crazy. I really don't see Sean being able to get up without grabbing the fence and cheating again, like he did against Peter. But it's just that, we sit here and think that Aljo just gets takedowns. But really, he doesn't. He really gets like 1 or 2 takedowns a fight. It's just that he keeps the position. Like, he doesn't lose position if he gets you taken down. And that's the thing. If Aljo can get stuffed late in this fight, it gets extended and it gets late. When they separate, like if he has Sean on the fence, Sean gets the stuff, like stuffs his head, boom, they separate. That's when Sean can knock him out. In that initial separation, Aljo keeps his hands low. He kind of looks tired toward the end of the fight. Like, he actually did look tired against Henry in that 5-round fight. But I just think that he's going to swarm him early. And I actually think that in the very first round, O'Malley gets submitted.
O'Malley fans and Aljamain Sterling haters are joining forces for this fight, and it's so cute. It's so cute to see them get on Twitter and bring up numbers of like Aljamain has or takedown percentage is terrible from the attempts to like what he actually gets.
Mhm.
But like you said, Aljamain doesn't get a lot of takedowns, maybe 1 or 2, but it's a chain wrestling from Aljamain that is crazy. Like you said, he has great position. O'Malley may pull off a crazy spinning kick or whatever and knock out the champ, but I hate Aljamain. Like, I don't hate him, but I think he's annoying, and I think he's very cringy champ outside of the octagon, but inside the octagon, the man's skill is for real. And I don't think O'Malley has the skill set, the all-around skill set to defend the grappling, break the hands if he needs to get off the cage. And I think Aljamain is going to work him for I think Aljamain is going to have a nice, easy night in the office, and O'Malley fans are going to cry. So I actually predicted that O'Malley will be a champion, but he won't beat Aljamain. He's actually going to O'Malley will fight for the vacant title after this fight because Aljamain will go up to 145. I think UFC sets up O'Malley versus Merab for the vacant title at 135, and O'Malley beats Merab.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, brother, I'm going there. So I think O'Malley will be a champion, but not against Aljamain.
Do you remember when Merab got knocked out like 3 times in that first round? I think it was against Pedro or Marlon or something. I always get those two mixed up, but yeah, he got slept like 3 times and he came back and won. That was crazy.
And I think Merab is more willing to stand and trade and kind of strike and just work his way in.
That'd be crazy.
But yeah, I think O'Malley may catch Merab. So that's my prediction. That's my hot prediction. Aljamain moves up to 145. The UFC books Merab versus O'Malley after that for the vacant title at 135, and O'Malley sleeps Merab.
And then Umar sleeps him, takes him down and mauls him. Houdini in the bet and Houdini bets or beats in the chat. What up, bro? I've seen him on this couple streams. That's the homie right there, dude. It's weird though. Like for Aljo, like him saying like I'm going up no matter what. Like I don't care, I'm going up. You know, big red flag definitely. He was doing a live stream, dog. A UFC champion doing a live stream on a Monday night, like in his hotel room, bro. He was all sucked up. Like people were like spamming the chat. Some guy, well, not some guy. I've heard of him. Never really watched his stuff. MMA Guru. I guess he has like a crazy amount of fans. They like swarmed his chat, but they were pro Aljo, so they're like, hell yeah, dude, like good luck and shit. He was like, oh yeah, it was tight, but it was just weird. Dude, he's wrestling like. He was pretty much telling the whole game plan. Like, I don't know why he did that stream. Like, it was crazy. He was like, I'm going to take him down. I'm going to grab the single. I'm going to body lock him. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, like, hey, man, like, you might be watching this shit too. Like, what the fuck? But it's weird with Aljo because if he goes up to 145, like, who's he going to beat? Like, Volkanovski is going to kill him. And then Holloway is going to definitely kill him. Like, I really don't see him winning. Like, who's he going to be? Like, Topuria? Like, well, no way, bro.
Yeah, again, like the top people at that division at 145 are just so big for 145. So
Yeah,
he's going up in weight to where he might be the smaller guy by a lot. So yeah,
imagine Aljo and Mavsvar. Like, what? Like, just stay a bantamweight, dude. You need to win those fights. Like, but I get it. He doesn't like it's. He even said himself. He was like, it's Marab's time and this and that, whatever. So
stop being tough, a bitch and fight your friend.
Yeah, bro. Like,
come on, man.
Make a fake beef, dude. Make a fake beef. He stole my girl or something, dude. Like,
oh man,
you gotta do something, man. Like the whole. This is why the whole time it'd be so funny if Colby and Jorge are still friends. Like that'd be hilarious. Like, you know, just getting crazy rich off like some fake beef. Dude, those old videos of Jorge and Colby living together are nuts. Like they have like weed, like pins everywhere, like or weed pipes. Like there's beers everywhere. Like they look just like out of college. They're not in college though, but like they're MMA fighters. And I'm like, dude,
I didn't know they were that close. Like
yeah.
Like, best friends, you know, going through their young 20s and late teens years together. Like it was crazy, man. Like you said, I bet it like the when he dropped the charges, he was like, "Hey, bro, chill." Like the beef cool,
it's getting crazy now. Yeah, I feel like once he jumped him at the restaurant, I was like, oh, it's not fake actually. The whole time I was like, this has to be fake. Like they have to be trying to make a bunch of money, but yeah, that's kind of crazy, dude. It's funny in those videos. Colby was working Jorge bad in the wrestling. Every single video was so funny. I was like, oh, that's why he's talking all this crazy nonsense. Like he's gonna kill Jorge if they wrestle.
And it showed in that fight.
Oh, dude, he worked him. Yeah.
Oh my
dude,
gosh.
I went to that press conference and it's cool. I was shocked at the amount of Colby fans. Like he has a ton of fans. People think he's cringe or whatever, but he has a ton of fans. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, people love Colby, man. And you know what? You know who loves Colby? I mean, I do too, but James Caraway, bro.
Yeah. He always defends him.
Big Colby fan. So
yeah,
I'm hoping Colby takes the belt off Leon's waist. So
I think he works him. But yeah, that's the card, man. I know we're real quick. I think we disagreed on a few, but we do have Aljo. We both have Aljo. We both have Wei Lee, right? Yeah.
Yep.
We both have Neil Magny. Now I'm playing. We have Ian Gary. I think who did we disagree on? We disagreed.
I took Mearshart and you took.
That's right. Yeah. I think that's it, right?
But yeah, I think that's it.
No, we both had Morose as underdog, huh?
Yeah, we both took Morose. So we both took Morose, Natalia Silva. We split on Petrosky, Mearshart. We're both going Bracatone. We're both going Austin Hubbard. We're both going Gregory Rodriguez.
Yep.
We're both going Brad Tavares. We're both going Marlon Vera. And we're both going Mario Batista. So
yeah, and like with the favorites, man, like we said earlier, like the lines are crazy wide, but I do think that they win, man. Like, I do expect a lot of these favorites to come through, but the lines are crazy, man. The books are forcing you to parlay 100% this week. So if you like to parlay, bro, be safe out there for it. So, but thanks for coming on, man. Another killer show, a little bit over an hour again, man. That's awesome. Thanks for your time, man. Anything you want to say? Shout out your stuff, your Instagram, dude. You went 11-1 last week on your picks, so make sure you let people know where they can find you your picks. And yeah, man, thanks.
Yeah, so in the last 3 cards, I'm 33-3 with my picks. Made some money as well. So at a Buck Podcast on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Elon, you ruined Twitter, bro.
Bro, I don't know what he's dude. Yeah, I know you're sorry, bro. That fool is tripping.
Yeah, on my Instagram, it's Keep It a Buck Podcast. And then I'm currently trying to get my second channel going for more podcast, breakdown cards separately. But hopefully, I'll be on more often with Effie. I have a great time breaking cards down with Effie and sharing great minds on this platform. So keep doing your thing, bro. Proud of you always. Keep up the great content and keep making money.
Yes, sir, man. We'll be back, sure enough. We will have Aries on back again for another good card when it comes up. But thank you so much for coming on, man. And we were coming off a 5-unit profitable week last week, so I'm trying to keep it going. I actually have 0 bets right now as it stands on this card. I think I'm gonna wait until like Friday or Saturday to put them in, man. I'm just gonna sit back, let the lines, go which way they're gonna go, and then attack from there. But so thanks so much, man. I think we got a lot of good angles, a lot of good method of victories and over-unders we talked about. So yeah, man, we'll see you guys next week. Good luck on your picks and your bets, man. And I can't wait for the fights. Let's go, Aljo and Still.
And still, both champs, baby.
Hell yeah.